In a disused warehouse in East Berlin, 2,000 young Germans are celebrating the old days. The event is called Ostalgie, meaning nostalgia for the East. On display, some of the icons that made East Germany the country that it was. The drab communist dictators who kept them in dependable poverty. The pride of local manufacturing, the Trabant, arguably the worst car ever built. And behind it, the wall that split Berlin in two, between the Western enclave controlled by West Germany and the eastern capital of East Germany. This is one part irony and two parts nostalgia. East Germany, the so-called German Democratic Republic, wasn't much of a country, but it was their country, and now it's gone. Elizabeth and Katrin were just 8 and 10 years old when the two Germanys reunited. While they revel in post-communist freedom, they genuinely regret their old country's death.
Because in the GDR there was a special feeling all together. It was like a big family, and now everybody is doing the best for itself, and I think they want to have this feeling again.
So they are nostalgic for the German Democratic Republic?
Yes, I think so.
Short after the year, after 89,
yes.
They all said that everything in GDR was bad,
yes.
and now after 10 years, the good things come back.
Even today, Germans classify themselves by the side they came from. These are the Ossis, meaning Easties. They're all the product of the communist system. They still tend to be poorer than their Western neighbours, the Wessis. And they're convinced the Wessis treat them as second-class citizens.
They think that the people of the West are very arrogant, to their nose over there, and they're unfriendly, and they think that we are a little bit silly or something like that. Yes.
With each year of unity, Ossis are getting a rosier view of a grey past. For all its communal spirit, East Germany was a prison. Set up by the Soviet Union from the territory it captured in the Second World War, it became the front line of the communist empire. An iron curtain stopped Germans fleeing to the west. And in 1961, a wall was built around West Berlin to close that escape route too. Even then, people risked their lives to try to cross it. Unlike young Ossis, many older Germans remember why. Sebastian Pflugbeil was a dissident who challenged the communist regime. A secret police force called the Stasi persecuted him and anyone who dared resist.
Es sind nicht so viele Leute umgebracht worden, zweifellos. Aber die Art, Bevölkerung in Angst zu halten und die Art, Macht auszuüben, würde ich als perfekter einschätzen als das, was die Gestapo gemacht hat. Die Stasi hat gelernt aus Gestapo und aus dem KGB auch.
Then one night 10 years ago, the world changed forever. On November 9th, 1989, a discredited communist regime finally bowed to popular pressure and lifted restrictions on travel. Within hours, hundreds of thousands flooded into West Berlin. So this is where you first crossed?
Yes, that was the first border point where I went over this morning.
Jana Simon was 17 years old when she had her first glimpse of the West. As the daughter of prominent dissidents, the opening of the wall seemed almost too good to be true. But like almost everyone who crossed in those first hours, Jana went straight home to the east. What was it like that day?
Actually, yeah, we had to wait like for a couple of hours here with my two friends. And so, yeah, so we just stood here and were just really excited, like how will it be? And then we actually crossed the border. And yeah, on the other end, it looked exactly the same. So I was quite disappointed, yeah. So, yeah, and then we...
Rather than fleeing oppression, they were celebrating freedom to travel. For all its faults, they had begun to think of East Germany as their nation. Few expected that it was about to disappear. Within months, the opening of the wall had created a momentum that saw the East German government collapse. East Germany reunited with West Germany, and the wall came down.
Deutschland hat sich definitiv für einen Verbleib in Europa entschlossen.
Jana still lives in the centre of East Berlin, but works for a West Berlin newspaper. Her life has all the trappings of the Western middle class. But even now, she feels a stigma for being an Ossi.
They treat me sometimes different because they think, okay, she's different. She has a different background, and that's why we don't really know her. I have some friends in West Berlin, and I think that's quite seldom. All my other friends from the East, they don't have any friends in the West.
After so long apart, Berliners have shown surprisingly little desire to live together. It's Friday night at a trendy cafe in the centre of West Berlin. The clientele are almost exclusively Wessis. Christiane Krautscheid is typical in that she has almost nothing to do with Ossis.
Im Grunde ist es das Gleiche, als würden Sie mich fragen, wie sehr sind Russen oder Polen verschieden von Deutsch. Wir sprechen zwar eine Sprache, aber natürlich haben wir über 40 Jahre eine vollkommen andere Mentalität uns erworben.
Und wie viele Ossis kennst du als Freunde?
Ich muss gestehen, in meinem Freundeskreis gibt es keinen einzigen. Obwohl ich selber im Osten Berlins arbeite und in einem Büro arbeite, in dem Ost- und Westler zusammenarbeiten, habe ich im privaten Freundeskreis keine Kontakte.
Wie lange wohnst du hier?
Seit 11 Jahren.
11 Jahre? Und du kennst keine Ostler?
Ja, das mag... Ich glaube nicht, dass es tatsächlich an mir liegt, dass ich mich dagegen sträube oder so. Aber es ergibt sich vielleicht auch nicht, weil man andere Interessen hat und... ja, weil tatsächlich auch einige Dinge vorhanden sind, die mich tatsächlich auch stören, muss ich schon sagen. Ja.
And there is much that annoys Ossis about the West. Today, Sebastian Pflugbal is unemployed. There is little interest in the new Germany for what people like him have to say. He now lives in poverty in his old East Berlin apartment. He insists his country wasn't liberated, it was taken over.
Das ist von einem Tag auf den anderen haben die westdeutschen Spielregeln Gültigkeit bekommen im Osten. Und es hat eine Übergangsfrist gefehlt. Es ist zu wenig nachgedacht worden, wie man diesen Übergang so gestalten kann, dass dabei keiner zu Schaden kommt. So ist es ein Übergang gewesen, wo Raubritter und Spekulanten unheimliche Geschäfte machen konnten. Und im Grunde genommen das Selbstbewusstsein und überhaupt die Personen der Bürger in Ostdeutschland als Fakt, als zu schützende Tatsache völlig ignoriert wurde.
Many do celebrate the death of East Germany. Thousands still come out to celebrations like this, marking the 9th anniversary of reunification. The fall of the Berlin Wall opened the East to freedom and the fruits of capitalism. It's brought benefits the East had been craving for years, and benefits they could never have imagined. A few kilometres east of the parade, the new-look communists hold a rally of their own. This is what became of the hated East German Communist Party after its leadership fled. It renamed itself the PDS, the Party of Democratic Socialism. It is now the fastest-growing party in Germany.
Ja, wir haben Kommunisten, wir haben Sozialisten, wir haben Menschen, die sagen, wir sind Sozialdemokraten, wir haben Christen in dieser Partei.
Last month it captured 40% of East Berlin's vote in city elections. Its main support comes from older Germans buffeted by the transition to capitalism. But chill economic wins are attracting a new generation. 36-year-old Petra Pau heads the Berlin branch. Her party may have descended from dictatorship, but she insists it will give people a voice.
Und die dritte Frage, das finde ich sehr bezeichnend, 10 Jahre danach, ist die Frage, wie können wir mehr selbst mitbestimmen, wie bekommen wir mehr demokratische Mitbestimmungsrechte.
Kritiker sagen, sie sind nur die alten Kommunisten mit einem neuen Namen.
Ja, weder alt vom Lebensalter noch von den Konzepten. Wir haben uns von vielem verabschiedet, nicht nur von den Dogmen, sondern auch von mancher einfachen Erklärung der Welt. Ich bin allerdings auch nicht bereit, alles das, was vorher war, erst einmal zu verdammen, weil damit würde ich auch die Lebensleistung.
West Germany has pumped billions of dollars into the East. The city skyline is a forest of cranes as Berlin resumes its mantle as the German capital. The new federal parliament, the Reichstag, should be an affirmation of the city's new prosperity. But the East's economy continues to lag badly behind the West. Unemployment is close to 20%, double the Western rate. And the pain has worsened since the ruling Social Democrats began an austerity drive. Young Ossis now see the PDS as the left alternative. Jana Simone thinks it's the worst.
It frightens me a bit, but I have some friends and they vote for PDS and we have lots of arguments and I can't understand it because I just can't forget how I felt in East Germany and how my parents felt. I mean, we were under secret surveillance. So, and I won't forget that. I mean, I can't forget that. So I would never vote for them.
The shadow of totalitarianism still falls across Berlin. Only the youngest children have no experience of dictatorship. From 1933, when it became the centre of Nazism, through to 1989, when it was the front line of communism, order, obedience and terror replaced freedom. The wall's fall gave hope for a better future and for a partnership with the West. The city now embodies the challenge of a new Europe.